Hello everyone, welcome back to the Chat Lounge podcast. Whoop, whoop. It is episode 2, and in today's episode we are going to talk about anything theater related, hence my Hamilton shirt. Whoop, whoop. So this is anything theater related. Oh, give me 1 second, I gotta fix my mic stand because it decides that it wants to loosen from my desk instead of just staying where it's supposed to stay. Thank you. Anyhow, so in today's episode, it's all things theater related. It's not necessarily just plays, not just musicals. It's kind of I tried to find stories that were a broader aspect of it all. And then at the very end, for my YouTube people, they'll be able to see previous playbills and shirts that I've collected over the years from just different shows that I've seen, and all that jazz. So let's get right on into it. I think all of these, okay, so 2 of them are from the Reddit thread, and then 1 of them is from the musicals thread. So we're gonna dip our feet into a little bit at a time. So this first one says, being in ensemble is no joke. It is not. Being in the ensemble is the most important part of a show. You can be a lead all you want. Ensemble people are the most important people of the show. Got cast in ensemble for the first time, and you always see people groaning about not getting the roles they want, but nobody tells you about how much work you have to do. I was told that I'd be in this role and laughably thought it'd be pretty laid back job. Sometimes. Don't think that. Don't think that. No. Why do I have to do core and strength trainings before every rehearsal? Why do I have 4 different roles to play under 1 role? Dude. I only really did ensemble. Like I was just dancing in the background, singing in the background. Like I don't really remember playing. I don't think I played anybody else that was played like I would walk in and have a line and then walk out. Like I don't remember ever having that in high school. And I haven't done theater in college yet, so maybe that'll change when I get to college. Who knows? Like when I get to that. Moving on. I thought I'd be in maybe 1 or 2 scenes, but something light, But why am I crawling on the floor, being a sock puppet and moving stuff around with 1 quick change? I'm not complaining. I absolutely love this role. It's given me so much experience so far and knowledge on how to better my physicalities and acting in general, and I really want to be in the ensemble in future productions just because of how fun it generally is. I love my role, just that I was horribly unprepared for what has to come. I also feel that this post can help others feel a bit better about being cast in ensemble. It's honestly really fun, but a lot of work. That is very true. I've never had a lead role, like ever. I had a solo in like a group number that we did, but I never like had a lead role or a supporting role. I was always ensemble, and you know what? I'm very thankful. Because the people who did take the roles, even though I auditioned for the role, the people who got the roles deserved the role. Does that make sense? Like, I was good, but some people are just better. And that's okay. If you know deep inside that you're good, to at least audition for something and move past that wall and break that barrier, and you just didn't get it, at least you did it. That's the way I saw it when I auditioned for a role. That's how I did it. But I've always been ensemble. Well, for 2 years of high school, I only did 2 years of theater, but more to come. There's more to come. Some comments. Always the backbone of any production, and many directors have huge fails when dealing with ensembles and with chorus. Because you get an ensemble and of course, who doesn't know what you're doing and they can wreck a show. On the other hand, you get an ensemble and chorus to work together and the show is magic and joy. That's the way some of these productions went. You have good ensemble members, and then you have some people, not all people, you have some people that are doing their job and they're taking their notes and they're fixing it. And then there are the other people who do not give a shit why am I here? And they just want to fuck everything up. They want to be talking on stage, in the wings. They want to be like, they don't take the notes and they just keep doing it. The more and more of the people who don't give a shit versus the people that do, it causes problems. It causes friction. And if it causes friction, you don't have a good show. If you have good people and you have good people, it balances out. If you have good people and bad people, it outweighs the other. And unfortunately, it's the bad people on day of show for the 3 days that you're doing show that will talk in the wings during the show with a live audience in front. That's distracting, especially if you wear a mic. We were always told in high school, all right? I will always remember this when I go and do professional theater outside of high school and college. You can have a mic on, but that does not mean that your mic will be off while you're off stage. Sometimes it won't even be on when you're on stage. Okay? So if you're in theater and you're watching this or you're listening to it or whatever, do not, and I repeat this, do not be fucking around in the wings. Do not touch the props. Don't talk to any of the stage hands, especially, like, if you have a question, talk to your stage manager or ask someone in the cast, not in the wings. In the dressing room, in the back where no one can hear you, do it somewhere else. But do not do it in the wings. Do not be fucking around. I've worked with so many people in high school theater that just didn't give a fuck. They were part of this group and I was a part of this group and they didn't give a fuck. And I had to go, okay, I'm gonna let y'all get in trouble. I'm gonna do what I need to do. I'm gonna take my notes and I'm gonna fix it. And I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna practice the lyrics. I'm gonna practice the dance moves. So when I go in the next day, I am just perfection, pushing it out there. You people don't give a fuck. If you don't give a fuck, don't be in theater. If you're doing it for a grade, find something else to get a grade. Find a different elective to get that grade. It's the same people in choir. It's going to be a whole different thing with choir because choir is just like actual chorus. But if you're part of the I don't give a fuck group, don't be in theater. People in theater give a fuck. If you don't give a fuck, go do something else. Go find a different elective that will not care that you don't give a fuck about it. Just don't. Anywho, now that I've had my rant, I've been holding that in for 5 years. I'm going to do another comment really quick on this first one, and then we'll continue to the next. 100% the ensemble is always the most important part. I definitely had bad experiences before, but that is all to do with toxic cast plus other things going on in my life. Very true. The ensemble community can be all together. It is what brings the show together. It is so important in every show. The most present to everyone thinks about is Hamilton, obviously. It's so important, and everything else as well is what makes the scene come alive. I'm just reading this word for word, don't mind that. But yeah, 100%, like, ensemble is the backbone of every production. If you don't have a good ensemble, you don't have a good show. That's just the way that I think. That's the way that I feel. Okay, moving on. We're gonna go to the next story. Well, next page. This one's kind of long, but it's still from the theater thread. So, excuse me. Moving on to the next. How do I tell my friends / dramatic scene partner if they started chewing the scene and the performance is suffering for it? Interesting. Let's get into it. So I'm in a dramatic musical, and in the second act, myself, romantic male lead, and my scene partner, romantic female lead, have a song that starts out as hers but turns into a duet halfway through. It is a highly emotional, somewhat devastating moment in the play with excellent music to sing to convey the emotion. Perfect. The actress has done an amazing job really connecting with me during it. I've sold the shit out of the scene, and up until recently, I've been happy to sit back during the first half and just let her have her big moment. Unfortunately, in the past few performances, she's changed. That's never good. A couple performances ago, she started getting really internal with it. She's clearly summoning a deep well of emption. Interesting. But it's coming out in a way that is very extra. She's gasping, clawing at me, clawing at herself. She's no longer supporting her breathing and isn't holding out long notes. She's dropping words. She's not singing harmonies, all because she's feeling so much. She's taken her performance from grounded and devastating in a good way to full-blown soap opera. It's so much now that I can't connect with her anymore because she isn't connecting with me. She's only focusing on connecting with herself, and nobody is telling her. Oh no. It sucks because she's an amazing actress, and our first week of shows didn't have this problem, but when we came back for the second week, it totally changed. And I know it is the greatest taboo to give acting notes to another actor, but our director is allergic to giving acting notes anyway, let alone once performances start. But if it were up to me, I know I'd want someone to tell me what happened, and I want to bring it back in. Worst thing, her family flew in to watch our most recent show, and they were all crying together in the lobby as she told them this performance was the one she cried in the most. So I simply couldn't tell her tonight. What do I do? How do I bring this up? Should I bring it up at all? I really think the show is suffering for the changes. And there's an edit. But before I get into the edit, I need to discuss. Like I've said before, I've never been like a lead at all. But this is interesting. That's interesting. To have, if your first week of shows were phenomenal, 10 out of 10, absolutely loved it, I would probably have cried during it. Second week, if I noticed, I'm like, if I went back the next week, after watching it the first week and I'm like, oh my God, tears, oh my gosh. I went back the second week and all of a sudden, like, it changed. I don't like change. Unless it's a note. If it's a director's note, then I'm like, why? I saw it last week, it was perfect. It was top notch, 100% great. 10 out of 10. What happened? What really happened? Let me get into the edit before I go into a whole other rant. Edit. I would like to clarify, the only reason I've considered talking to this person about this at all is for two reasons. The first is that we're friends. We talk frequently outside of the show and hang out outside of the show. The second is that they told me about how their best friend will give them pages and pages of notes after seeing their performances and how they love it. Additionally, yesterday before the show, she literally said to me, I respect someone who can call me out. When I told her, she was anticipating my entrance way too early and cutting me off from completing some blocking. Oh boy. So here's the thing. Y'all can be friends outside of the show. But if it's for the show, you gotta tell her what's up. Like, hey, we're friends, which means I can tell you what's up. And if I say, hey, you're kind of fucking up the scene, do you mind not doing that? Can we run it a couple of times so I can make sure that you're not gonna fuck it up? That's a problem. I've had friends outside of theater, but once I'm on that stage and I'm mic'd up and I'm in a costume, like, I'm in the show. We are not friends until after the show is over. That's just how I feel. That's just how I was. And I have YouTube videos documenting that. Let me go ahead and continue with some comments. Don't bring it up yourself. If it's a professional production, speak to the stage manager. They should be able to give the note in the sense of, you are no longer performing this show as it was directed, and potentially most of the angle of both vocal safety and safety with the clawing direction she added. OP said, and if it's not a professional production ? Someone else said, You let it go. If you can't, you can still talk to the stage manager. Absolutely do not talk to the actor. It is not your job. It is not okay. No, you are not the exception. Do not do it. So there's that. Like, stage manager or director should be the first people that you're like, hey, she's fucking up her voice. She's clawing at me, which is causing physical safety to myself. Can you talk to her? And have them talk to her. That's not your job. I mean, in high school, like, we were all friendly with each other, that it's like, okay, I need to give you a note really quick. Just as friends, as actors. Don't do that. And if they're like, oh, okay, thanks, we're set. So that's it with that one. Let me go ahead and get right onto the last one. This one is a little bit shorter, but I picked it because this is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. Even though it just came out a couple years ago. But this is actually my favorite movie. And this person and I'm going to probably have another rant in a second, but I want to hear this person out. So we're going to hear them out. All right, here we go. This is from the musicals thread as well. Confused by Tick, Tick, Boom movie, in parentheses. First of all, I believe, and this is just my honest opinion as a theater kid and as a choir kid and as a musical lover, all right? I believe, in my own opinion, that Tick, Tick, Boom is a masterpiece. I feel like Lynn did a phenomenal job directing. And first of all, Jonathan Larson will be one of my favorite producers, songwriters, musical, like Broadway musical icon, okay? And I firmly believe that if he was still around today, he would have created a whole other masterpiece that would have surpassed Rent. He only has 2 musicals, and both of them I'm in love with, because I'm in love with this man. His lyrics and his attention to detail of current life events, top-notch stuff. I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, let's get into it before I start ranting with this person. I don't know if I'm being stupid because nobody else seems to be confused by it. I normally find it easy to navigate myself around musicals, but I've just watched it and I'm trying to navigate myself around all of the different perspectives. It's like a biography, and then all of a sudden it's just a normal movie again, following Larson, going back to him on stage, telling the story. Larson is explaining his own life with song, and then Susan explains that he dies, but he's still there telling the story. Which part of the movie is Tick, Tick, Boom? Is the movie just a biography? Is Tick, Tick, Boom just a biography? I know that the musical used to be a one-man show, so that's just throwing me off. It's like 2 different films. Is that the point of it? I may be stupid, but I need some help. Sorry if this confuses anyone. What? Oh boy. Tick, Tick, Boom is about, anyone who watches the movie, stay. If you haven't watched the movie, go watch the movie and then come back to this point in time. The movie is about Jonathan Larson, played by the great Andrew Garfield, is trying to produce a musical to go on to Broadway, okay? It's about the struggles of a Broadway producer and songwriter trying to create something to push out. It's essentially showing us behind the scenes of what currently happens with Broadway shows. Lynn had to write the lyrics, and he had to write the script, and he had to write all the music, and then they had a workshop, and everyone loved the workshop, and then it's been on Broadway for 10 years. That's how successful that show is. That's why everyone loves it. Tick, Tick, Boom is the same exact way. The only problem is that nobody liked the musical that he wrote. So his agent said, write something that you know. And Tick, Tick, Boom is what he knows. That's like the point of the story. Tick, Tick, Boom is about Jonathan Larson's life. So if you ever listen to the actual Broadway recording or off-Broadway recording of Tick, Tick, Boom, it's literally the story. Like, Jonathan is the narrator. It is John. I believe they changed the names. But it is John. There's Susan. There's, who else is there? I forgot his name. I haven't watched the movie in a hot minute, but I know musicals. But, like, watch it. you'll understand what's the Tick Tick Boom side. He gets into conflict with Susan. He gets into conflict with his friends. He goes back and forth to being on stage because that is the workshop. Like with Superbia, they were in that room and they all had stands and their sheet music and they were singing and stuff with a whole bunch of people. This is the same thing. It goes back and forth between Jonathan Larson talking about his life with his friends, with his ex-girlfriend, with the fact, like, in current time in the 1990s, AIDS and HIV were rampant. All right? It was a really big thing. So he was talking about the fact that, oh, my friend has AIDS. This is how I found out. And then he would sing a song on how he felt about that because that was the musical. It's the same songs that if you were to listen to the actual musical from off-Broadway, they're the same songs, just sung by a different person. That's just what it is. So the workshop, and then at the very end in the credits, if you watch the credits, it shows the actual Jonathan Larson performing on stage at the workshop, because the workshop is essentially you trying to sell your show. So this man is like, I'm going to talk to you about something that I know, which is what his agent told him, right? His agent told him, write what you know. What he knows is what's up in here and what's in here. He knows that. So he wrote a musical based off of what comes in here and what comes in here. And then from that, he got Rent. And then unfortunately he passed away. But like, it's not confusing. You just need to pay attention more to what's happening in the movie. And then watch the movie and then listen to the off-Broadway musical. And then compare. Because you'll see, oh, this is the part that's Tick Tick Boom. This is the part that's Jonathan narrating. This is the part, like, you'll piece together the parts. Because the show is just the show. The movie is the whole telling of how he wrote the show. What he was going through with the show. What he was going through in his life to write that into the show. Gotta pay attention to it. Let's get into some comments. Anyway. I'm gonna literally read this comment and I only read the first 3 words. In real life, Tick Tick Boom was a semi-autobiographical one-man show. It has expanded after he died to be a 3-person musical, hence the additional actors in the movie. See? The onstage parts of the movie are meant to be him performing the show, and the show is a story of what we see in the acted-out movie parts. You can think of these scenes as being in the past, seeing as it ends with Susan telling him to write the next one, the next musical, TTB. And the onstage scenes as being in the present. Exactly. Chronologically, it goes Jonathan writing Superbia and everything else we see in the movie. Writing and performing Tick Tick Boom, writing Rent and Death, as explained in the voiceover that isn't Susan the character anymore, it's more of an epilogue. There you go. Pretty much like him on stage is present. All the movie scenes with them singing Happy Birthday in the diner at the end of the film on his birthday, him and Susan getting into the fight, and then like him swimming in the pool and finding that song for Vanessa Hudgens to sing for Superbia. That's all in the past. So he's telling a story of what happened in the past, in the present. Makes sense? I'm gonna read 2 more. Because someone just says, yep, you explained it perfectly. Exactly. And then the person after that says, good summary. When I first watched it, I went into it completely in the dark, and all I knew was he wrote Rent. So I assumed the musical he was writing was Rent, and the Superbia stuff was an early draft, and things would change and would become Rent. Then I realized Rent really had nothing to do with the other with the film, other than the note heard at the end was a bit confusing, but the second watch went better. So here's the thing. Rent, I'm trying to remember when Rent came out. Because, I mean, Rent went on Broadway, like, immediately. It was a smash hit. Everyone fucking loved it. It went to Broadway. And it was on Broadway for a good number of years. I'm waiting for it to come back. I need a revival. I need the revival. We're almost to that point. It just has a couple more years to go before it can go on a revival. But Rent became a huge hit. Tick Tick Boom, not so much. But Tick Tick Boom, way after Jonathan's death, went to off-Broadway. which is where that first commenter noted it was a one-man show. It was just Jonathan, pretty much with him on stage in the movie, talking about the show and all that jazz and singing and stuff. That was the show off Broadway. It was just pretty much Jonathan with a piano, and that was it, right? The guy playing Jonathan, that was it. And then like the person said, again, they added 2 people. They added another male and another female. So that's how you get like all the other songs with him, but it's more like acting. And what's crazy is that I was really excited for Lynn to be directing it, because Lynn was in Tick, Tick, Boom a while ago. Before In the Heights came out, before Hamilton became a smash hit, before he did music for Moana, before he did music for, I think, Lion King. Like, this man is busy. Okay? This man is like an icon. Okay? But that's pretty much it. I don't want to rant too much anymore. So that's pretty much the end of that. Go ahead and give me a couple of seconds. I'm gonna go find some playbills and I will be right back. And I'm back. So I only found some because I just recently moved, so I'm not quite sure where all of my other ones went, but I have a huge stack. So maybe I'll do an update after I unpack all of those. My most recent one, I went all the way to LA for, and it was The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals. It was so good. This is the reprise, I believe. Yeah, this is the reprise. So this musical came out about 8 years ago now. And then they said, we're gonna bring it back on stage. And I said, I can't miss this. I need to see Star Kid in real life. And everyone in here, like, I absolutely love and I've seen so many times before that I'm like, give me please. So I took my sister, and her and I both cried because Kurt Mega filled in for this guy who's Paul Matthews. And her and I absolutely love Kurt Mega, so he's coming up the aisle and her and I are freaking out. To carry on to the next, I don't get, but my parents get tickets to the Smith Center, which is a local, like, high-grade theater here in Vegas that we go to. And we get, I pick what shows I want to see. They get me an extra ticket and I go and I see them. But that's how I collect all these playbills. So I recently went to go see Some Like It Hot this year. Oh my god, it was so good. I didn't think that I was going to love it so much, but now I kind of want to watch the movie. Because Fred Astaire? Give me Fred Astaire. Fred Astaire? Maybe I'm thinking of White Christmas. I think of White Christmas every single time I say Fred Astaire. I digress. Of course, I have Hamilton. This is my second time seeing them, so I have another playbill somewhere that's also Hamilton. Absolutely love Hamilton. I loved it from the second I heard lyrics from it, and it's absolutely wonderful. And then last but not least, I'm going to show you this one, Parade. I wasn't really, like, I got into it, but oh my god, it's so sad. I'm like, why? Why is it so sad? Like, what the fuck? And I didn't know the story. I didn't know anything about Parade before I, like, walked into it. It's the same thing as Some Like It Hot. I had no idea what the hell it was about until I got there. And then they started talking about it more, and I'm like, what? I'm watching it, I'm like, what's happening? It's based off of true events. But I'm like, I don't think I like this anymore. I think I'm ready to go. Like, I think I'm ready to just not be here anymore. So, it was good. I liked the music. I just did not like the story. I did not like the ending. It was fucking depressing. So, if you could find it somewhere on YouTube for free, I wish you luck. I wish you luck. I really do. But that's going to do it for this video, and for the podcast, of course. I will see you all next week, and I will see you guys next week.